No, they were pretty darn good.
Call the meeting to order. Please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the April 2nd, 2019 Post Falls City Council meeting. We started the evening with a workshop and are now entering regular session. Clerk will note that all council members are present. And tonight we have a couple of announcements and two proclamations. The annual tree giveaway will be held on Saturday, April 13th, beginning at 9 a.m. until all trees have been handed out. Limit to 3 trees or shrubs per household. A list of trees will be posted on Facebook and the city website as soon as it is available. And just a reminder to get ready for the City Spring Cleanup Day on Saturday, April 27th. There will be free trash pickup. Residents must put items bagged, bundled, or in a toter at the street by 6 a.m. for garbage pickup. Also, on Saturday, the 27th, is the Community Recycle Day event at City Hall from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. You can recycle your old electronics, computers, etc., turn in old unused prescriptions for safe disposal by the police department, and paper shredding will be offered by Mountain West Bank. And I also would like to congratulate our very own Chief of Police, Pat Knight, who my understanding has just celebrated your first anniversary as chief. So thanks. And someone asked me about that yesterday. Say, who's your chief now? And I told him, he said, good choice. So yeah, thanks, Pat. We appreciate all you do. We do have 2 proclamations. There's going to be a lot of whereases, so please be patient. The first is the National Public Safety Telecommunicators Week. Whereas emergencies can occur at any time that require police, fire, or emergency medical services, and whereas when an emergency occurs, the prompt response of police officers, firefighters, and paramedics is critical to the protection of life and preservation of property. And whereas the safety of our police officers and firefighters is dependent upon the quality and accuracy of information obtained from citizens who telephone the Post Falls Communications Center. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the first and most critical contact our citizens have with emergency services. And whereas public safety telecommunicators are the single vital link for our police officers, firefighters, and emergency medical personnel by monitoring their activities by radio, providing them information, and ensuring their safety. And whereas public safety telecommunicators of the Post Falls Communications Center have contributed substantially to the apprehension of criminals, suppression of fires, and treatment of patients. And whereas each dispatcher has exhibited a compassion, understanding, and professionalism during the performance of their job for the past year. Now, therefore, it is proclaimed by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Post Falls, Idaho, officially declares the second week of April to be observed as National Telecommunicators Week annually in the City of Post Falls to recognize and honor our public safety telecommunications personnel and the vital contributions they make to the safety and well-being of our citizens. Signed the 2nd of April, 2019 by myself. In the second proclamation, Fair Housing Month. Whereas April 2019 marks the 51st anniversary of the passage of Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, commonly known as the Federal Fair Housing Act. And whereas the Idaho Human Rights Commission Act has prohibited discrimination in housing since 1969. And whereas equal opportunity for all, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, or national origin, is a fundamental goal of our nation, state, and city, and equal access to housing is an important component of this goal, as fundamental as the right to equal education and employment, and housing is a critical component of family and community health and stability. And whereas housing choice impacts our children's access to education, our ability to seek and retain employment options, the cultural benefits we enjoy, the extent of our exposure to crime and drugs, and the quality of health care we receive in emergencies, and ongoing education, outreach, and monitoring are keys to raising awareness of fair housing principles, practices, rights, and responsibilities. and only through continued cooperation, commitment, and support of all Idahoans can barriers to fair housing be removed. Now therefore, I, Ronald G. Jacobson, Mayor of the City of Post Falls, Idaho, do hereby proclaim April 2019 to be Fair Housing Month in the City of Post Falls. This was actually dated the 5th day of March 2019. Are there any amendments to the agenda tonight?
We have none tonight, sir.
Are there any declarations of conflict? Councilor.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would abstain from item number G on the consent calendar, and then also further down on the ordinances, ordinance number A, dealing with the same annexation agreement.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? Would you present the consent calendar, please?
Item A is minutes from the March 19th, 2019 City Council meeting. Item B is payables March 12th through March 25th, 2019. Item C is Riverside Harbor Lift Station, a Vista Service Agreement. Item D is St. Andrews Court Subdivision Plat Application. Item E is Construction Improvement Agreement for North Place 2nd. And item F is Construction Improvement Agreement for Montrose 11th. Item G is Hubert Cassell Annexation Agreement. Item H is Contract for Surfacing at Meadows Sports Court. Item I is Contract for Surfacing at Crown Point Sports Court. Item J is Contract for Surfacing at Tullamore Park Sports Courts. Item K is Memorandum of Understanding between the Police Department and surrounding agencies establishing a mutual aid compact and granting peace officer authority upon request. Item L is Purchase of splash pad equipment for Northwest Playground equipment for Tullamore Park. Item M is Contract with Evan Ferguson Concrete for site work, curbing with ADA approaches at Black Bay Depot. Item N is Software Agreement with OpenGov for financial software.
Any questions on the consent calendar? Joe.
On items H, I, and J, I don't know who wants to answer those, but
Brian will stand up.
doesn't appear there was any competitive bidding process, so how do we arrive at whether or not this is a fair price from the best valued vendor?
We're pretty limited on sports court surfacing as a vendor. We're pretty slim as far as contractors that provide that service. We've worked with Koch's over the last couple of years. They've done really, really good work in their product. This is a 20-year life expenditure, basically, before we're doing another overlay on a court. We could go back out and look, but the last couple of times we've gone out, the availability through the summer is really tight, and that's a big factor on this. We are allowed to direct select per Idaho code, so that's where we're at with this purchase.
Okay.
So.
You all right, Joe?
Yep.
Thank you. Any other questions? I'd entertain a motion.
I'd move for approval of the consent calendar as presented.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Wolf?
Aye.
Malloy?
Aye.
Anthony?
Aye.
Borders?
Aye.
Wilhelm?
Aye.
Thorson?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Next item up is public hearings. Tonight we have none, followed by unfinished business. Tonight we have none. Next up is citizens' issue, and this section of the agenda is reserved for citizens wishing to address the council regarding a city-related issue that is not on the agenda. And if anyone wishes to speak, please come forward, state your name for the record.
Bob Flowers, good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council. My issue tonight is with a development project that's been going on for a couple of months now, down at the corner of Ross Point Road and Maplewood. This project has been digging huge ditches, leaving them unfilled at night. There is no fencing, no safety. The kids in the neighborhood, which there are quite a few, have been out in there quite a lot. And then yesterday, they go and they dig up Maplewood. They dig at the time I saw it, it was a 15-foot hole in the road to hook into the sewer. And I was talking with the supervisor of the diggers there, and I asked him what kind of safety precautions they're going to put up so kids aren't falling in holes and that sort of thing. He said, well, the kids should be home. And I said, well, you know, kids don't always stay home. He said, well, that's their parents' problem. And anyway, this particular development, it's only a block from me, so I can see it from my house, but there should be some temporary fencing around that project, something to keep citizens safe, because even the little ones are citizens of this city. And we can't always expect the parents to do this, but I believe that there should be something done out there to at least secure the area, because there are places where kids will go if they're allowed to, and they could get hurt. That's all I have.
Bob, I did see the response that Assistant Engineer Rob Paula sent you, but I don't recall that safety side of it was addressed. So
No.
I would throw it out, and we'll have them take a look at that.
Thank you.
You bet. Next item up is new business, and tonight we have none, and we do have one ordinance. And if Linda abstained, we'll need someone else to read it.
Well, I will move to place the ordinance, Hubert Castle annexation, on its first and only reading by title only while under suspension of the rules.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Malloy.
Aye.
Anthony.
Aye.
Borders.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. Mr. Wilson.
An ordinance of the City of Post Falls, a municipal corporation of the state of Idaho, annexing property consisting of approximately 9.912 acres located in the east half of Section 32, Township 51 North, Range 5 West, Boise Meridian, Kootenai County, Idaho, and zoning the annexed property as low-density, single-family residential R1, providing for the amendment to the official zoning map and providing for an effective date hereof.
So I would move to approve the ordinance, Hubert Castle annexation, and to direct the clerk to assign the appropriate number and that it be published by summary only.
Second.
Motion second. Further discussion? Shannon, please take the roll.
Anthony.
Aye.
Borders.
Aye.
Thorson.
Aye.
Wolf.
Aye.
Malloy.
Aye.
And motion passes. Thank you very much. Any administrative staff reports tonight?
We have none tonight, sir.
Under mayor comments, the only thing I would say is with the nicer weather, and I've determined that spring is actually here, snow blowers are put away.
Now we're in trouble.
Yeah, now we're in trouble.
Now it's snow tonight.
I've got someone coming to fix my lawnmower, so we're ready. But it goes back to something Mr. Flowers says. There are going to be more and more kids out on the streets, and I would just encourage everyone to please drive safely. Watch out for the kids on bikes, kids walking in the streets. Nicer weather is going to bring more and more of them out, so please keep their safety in mind. Council comments. Lynn, you had one.
KMPO meeting for April 11th is canceled due to lack of agenda items. So anybody that was planning on going to that meeting, it won't happen.
Anybody else?
Darn.
I just want to comment again, I don't always agree with Mr. Flowers, but he often brings good stuff to the meetings, and I think that's another one tonight. I would just encourage all of our citizens out there that when you see something that doesn't quite fit, that you take the time and energy to let us know about it. It's the only way that we know anything about it and can do anything about it. So, Bob, thanks again for always being here and bringing up good topics.
With that, we do not need an executive session.
We do not.
So the next motion is?
Adjourn.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.